Zack Snyder provided an update on where his future stands with the DC Universe. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Following his impressive efforts on the Snyder Cut in 2021, fan support for Zack Snyder has slowly increased online, particularly with the current status of the DC Universe. The franchise is going through some major internal changes, particularly as the entire franchise has been rebranded as the DC Universe, moving away from the DC Extended Universe that Snyder helped build since 2013. As the hierarchy of power in the DCU's leadership changes with new co-CEO James Gunn taking over the newly named DC Studios, the goal with Warner Bros. Discovery, WBD, is to make sure the story is cohesive from top to bottom. This is all in an effort to give fans the biggest story ever told in any superhero movie franchise ever, which doesn't appear to be including old franchises like the Arrowverse, the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, or even the Snyder Cut. Even with his impressive success bringing Zack Snyder's Justice League to life outside of the canon DCU, the movie's director and his SnyderVerse doesn't appear set for a return to DC anytime soon. Speaking with the Preston and Steve Show and the 93.3 WMMA Philadelphia radio station, via Reddit user u/JokerAsylum123, director Zack Snyder provided an update on his future with the DC Universe. When asked what his future with the DCU holds, Snyder revealed that nobody has called him about anything regarding a return to Warner Bros. Discovery's DC movies. Well, as far as I know, which is very little, I'm doing my thing, and haven't had anyone give me a call or anything, so I'm just wishing them all the best and hoping that they make some cool movies. And now, Snyder has offered a disappointing update on his place with Warner Bros. Discovery, WBD, that matches up with Gunn's recent announcement. This follows recent comments from new DC Studios head James Gunn, who stated that the company's initial focus is on the story going forward, suggesting that what has come before, including the SnyderVerse, will likely be left behind. While he was happy to have support for his work on Zack Snyder's Justice League, he admitted that he's having an amazing time working on his current projects, wishing the DC team all the best in their future endeavors. I mean, I'm glad that I have your guys' support. That's very kind. The truth be told, I'm having an amazing time making this giant movie that I'm working on, and I couldn't be happier. So I really wish them all the best. Although there doesn't seem to be any bad blood between Snyder and the new regime at WBD, it also seems that there are no plans to restart the SnyderVerse as new projects are developed. For now, there are 4 new outings set for a theatrical release in 2023, starting with Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and ending with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Should Snyder actually get a chance to work on another DC project, it would seemingly be a major surprise, although his fans haven't lost all hope yet for that day to come. Looking at it from a fan perspective, there's no question that a sect of viewers want to see Zack Snyder get a shot at redemption in the DCU's new future. Twitter users have already put out a call for the SnyderVerse to replace the current slate of DC movies, and although that won't happen to the extent that many want, Snyder is still a name that comes up in many conversations about where the DCU is going. Currently, Black Adam is playing in theaters worldwide. Shazam, Fury of the Gods will then kick off DC's 2023 slate on March 17th. This actor was supposedly set to be a big part of the DCU had it continued. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. A recent interview confirmed the actor who would have played Batman in Zack Snyder's Flashpoint film, and it is the perfect choice. The Flashpoint movie was just one of many DC comic stories Snyder wanted to tackle with his DCU but never got the chance to, with the superpowered universe being rebooted on the backs of James Gunn and Peter Safran. Years after the end of Zack Snyder's DCU, the Man of Steel director's ever-so-perfect pick for a Flashpoint Batman actor was finally confirmed. From 2013 to 2017, Snyder shepherded DC Comics' on-screen brand. The filmmaker never realized the full extent of his DC vision, being taken off 2017's Justice League and, thus, out of the franchise entirely. That has not stopped the filmmaker from sharing his extensive plans for the future of the Blue brand, including tackling the iconic Flashpoint DC comic story. He then revealed that there were initial plans for him to play a Flashpoint version of Batman in the DCU, but those ideas never came to fruition. There was a time when Flashpoint Batman would have seen these two characters in a much bigger role, Morgan explained. So I don't think. The idea was, truthfully, that Zack was going to do more movies, and that I think that there was a time when Flashpoint Batman would have seen these two characters in a much bigger role. We never got a chance to do that, unfortunately. But it was the first time that Lauren and I met. I remember meeting her for the first time and she had just started The Walking Dead, and I was a huge fan. Speaking with Den of Geek, Walking Dead star Jeffrey Dean Morgan disclosed that he was in talks to play Zack Snyder's Flashpoint Batman before the DCU was rebooted. Talking about the first time he and his Walking Dead co-star Lauren Cohen met, Morgan described getting to play Thomas and Martha Wayne together in Snyder's Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Question: I'm sure this has been brought up in the past, but I don't think I ever looked it up myself. Was it Zack Snyder's purpose to kind of play a joke on people by having you both play Thomas and Martha Wayne, or was it like your suggestion or something like that at that point? Morgan: that was the first time we'd ever met or worked together, so this is well before. Cohen: oh my gosh, I just forgot that. Just literally forgot that. This is not the first time Morgan commented on the idea of playing an alternate universe Batman, telling fans in 2022 that Michael Keaton's casting in The Flash was the longtime Batman actor swooping in and taking his gig. He joked that it was serendipitous that the Man of Steel filmmaker brought him and Cohen together before they shared the stage in The Walking Dead. So I remember peppering her with a lot of questions about The Walking Dead. But no, I think Zack, luckily, just put us together. I don't know why or how, other than maybe thinking into the future what could happen. I think you'd have to ask Scott M. Gimple, 'cause maybe more of the joke is him casting us opposite each other. Zack Snyder's Flashpoint may have been stopped in its tracks before fans ever got to see it, but that does not mean the project was a completely known quantity. Zack Snyder's Flashpoint film never saw the light of day. However, some assumed elements from the project made their way into 2023's The Flash film starring Ezra Miller and Michael Keaton. Instead of any further stories in Snyder's vision of the interconnected comic book universe, the DCU will be rebooted this summer with the release of James Gunn's long-awaited Superman movie. Despite the movie seemingly being divorced from alternate universes, unlike many current superhero affairs, Superman borrows a multiversal villain for one of the film's main antagonists. The movie would have likely served as a culmination of the first era of Snyder-led DC storytelling, being one of the Blue Brand's biggest multiversal stories and essentially creating the DC multiverse and changing the continuity for Eve. Jeffrey Dean Morgan previously said appearing in the Flashpoint movie would have been very fun, but with the DCU reboot incoming, fans will now never get the chance to see it. Also, at this point, the Flash movie would have reportedly served as a key building block toward the event film, and it would have ended by reboot Angie, the universe, and introduce Angie, a new cast. This could have seen characters like the OG Snyder DCU Trinity swapped out for other actors, with someone like Morgan stepping into the superpowered role for any future appearances in the franchise. Since James Gunn previously confirmed that Zack Snyder has not expressed any interest in returning to DC or revisiting his SnyderVerse, any future for a Flashpoint project is practically nil. The rumors were that the Flashpoint film would have featured Reverse Flash as its primary villain, seeing H.